We're going to bring in a more reliable source of information, and Amber is going to be joining us to help tell the story about this VIP gig that we had been alluding to last week. It happened right after we had recorded last week's episode, and we got into it.
The other thing I love about this conversation, it gets into another person's perspective on your process for live band karaoke, like a really crucial person's perspective on how to make that work operationally. So I think that's something people will be interested to hear about too.
Yes. Lots of juicy details and also just behind the scenes stuff. So if that's what you're into, you're in for a treat. So enjoy. Because my perception of this gig is basically the 3 feet directly in front of me and around me, I figured I would bring in a more reliable source of information. So Amber is joining us on the pod this week.
Yay!
It's been way too long.
If you're just in conversation with us, she is certain that she's the linchpin in the show, that she makes everything work.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dan. Thank you for acknowledging.
Yeah.
I mean, numbers are usually up when she's on, but she's taken all the credit, all the subs, all the 1.6 million views as we hit this week.
It's obviously
she's
me.
Yeah.
Hey. Clearly.
Oh,
Clearly.
my goodness.
If you paid her by the minute, I mean, she would be. It's way more efficient. We have poured hours into this, but not. Yeah, she's the source of all it. But anyway, the way that these gigs work is that like I can only perceive what I experience, and let's be honest, I tend to shut things out to focus on the things that I'm trying to prioritize. Whereas she, she's a details person, which I am not. So she's going to be a much more reliable narrator in this scenario.
All right. Well, for some segment of our audience, depending on where we release this, they don't even know, we teased them with what it was going to be, but only a very few of us knew details.
Yeah. So, I mean, I put it on my socials, so I feel like it's out there. So I'm not too worried about it. And I don't think we have anything. We didn't sign anything, so the NDA confidentiality thing is out the window. There might be a portion of this that only makes it into the bonus episode if the full one doesn't make it out. But for the most part, it's all good.
Okay. Good.
For those of you who are wondering, and I was really expecting like more people to like put their guesses in on who it might be. Nobody did. I feel like the patrons knew because it was like they saw the inquiry right after you did.
Right.
So we were asked to play Teddy Swim's Afterparty. So he did 2 shows at Chastain in Atlanta. They were sold out back to back. And we were asked to play the Afterparty for night 1. And it all kind of panned out that we were able to do it. And so we did. And this is
awesome.
The retelling of that experience.
I feel like there should be like some sort of transitional music. It's like the wavy screen that goes back.
Yeah.
If we had the production value, I mean, if we had the budget, we could do that.
Let's pretend.
We've established it.
That's great.
Yeah.
So this was at a place called the Dixie Tavern, which is not a...
It's a professional dive bar.
Yes. It is. It is a place that is divey on purpose.
Yeah.
They're known for pool tables, cheap drinks, kick-ass live music. That is what they're known for.
Sticky floors.
Sticky floors.
Yes.
But like in a way that's fun and endearing.
Worth a visit.
Yeah.
It's worth a visit.
Absolutely. If you are in the Marietta area, Dixie Tavern, odds are like an awesome band's going to be playing and fun times are there to be had. And we had played there like 11 years ago.
I was pregnant.
She was pregnant with our youngest the last time we played there. So it's been a minute. But it's a place that is not...
It's not trying to be anything other than what it is.
And it is not unfamiliar to us.
Yes.
So we had very little notice and we had little time to prep. And so there were a fair amount of question marks when we rolled into the venue. And because of that, we didn't want to risk any potential time constraints or issues like that. So we showed up hella early. We were like...
Now let's define hella early, okay?
We were there, what? We left our house.
We
got
were there
at like 8:30.
8:30 p.m.
For like an
Eastern?
11:30 downbeat.
Yeah. So, but you didn't know what you were going to walk into?
Right.
The sound guy?
Honestly, solutions-oriented guy. He was there to make things happen. And so even with no prior, correspondence, we were able to come up with a solution and get things going.
Yeah.
So we're loading in. We bring our whole rig. The thing we're trying to figure out is how do we patch into their system? Because we didn't bring our split, and so we had one of two options. We either gave them left right sub and let them mix from our mixer. They had an M32 setup, or we trust the guy behind the console to send us solid enough mixes to our in-ears. And we opted for the latter. He was able to patch us in. All of our RF got patched in without issue. It was totally fine. It took a little longer than we were expecting. The AV was the last thing that we set up, which is a little nerve-wracking. Last week I was like, I want to make sure there's no margin for error. We were right up to the
You kind of need the AV
doors.
for live band karaoke.
Well, we made some, again, we're making assumptions. There's at this place, they do live band karaoke, and there was a monitor hung from the ceiling. And so we're like, we'll just patch into that.
No, we won't.
Well, but I start looking for like cables and like, where is this going? And so I'm like looking up in the rafters, trying to figure out where this place is. And I can't find like the input. I can find like the splitters and where everything goes, but I'm like, how do I get this to there? And it turns out that when the production guy shows up, like, it's back here at the console. I was like, so the other group that does this runs their lyrics from front of house? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, well, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
But because we are, if anything, paranoid. Sure, agile, paranoid, however you want to slice it.
Spin it in one way or the other. Yeah.
Brought our monitor with us. So we were able to just basically, set it up the way that we normally would. But yeah, that was the last thing that we got figured out besides putting up the QR code behind us, because that was a whole other deal. Everybody's AV setup is not like you've got to come with a bunch of options.
Can I just say it was very brave of you to be looking up in the rafters of said dive bar?
Sure.
Because I looked up with you and I immediately regretted it.
Yeah. It wasn't... The stuff that was up there had been up there for a while.
And there was an AC output that went directly over the stage that was...
Dripping water on us?
Dripping water.
So it was like a Chinese water torture scenario back where the bass player was.
And I was like... I looked at our bass player. I was like, hey, watch out for that. He's like, you watch out for it.
Yeah.
Could get like an umbrella hat.
Yeah. Say all that to say, we got set up. Everything was good. People start trickling in, and we were supposed to start at 11:30, and we started just about at 11:30.
Right before that, though, I think this is where I was headed before.
Yes, sorry.
Which was, I loved your recap of plugging things in.
Hey, this is the stuff that the people who are
listen.
That's actually what they wanted.
I love that. I don't do that.
Yeah.
I will tell you that once people started trickling in, then it started going. He's going to be here. The show just wrapped. Got a text message. The show just wrapped. The show just wrapped.
I got one of those text messages too, by the way.
And I was like, okay.
Well, so
he's on the move.
When you're in these scenarios, you don't really know what to expect. Like my expectation is that, if we're playing from 11:30 to 1:30, like he's probably showing up like right at the very end because he's got other stuff, obligations or whatever.
Like a shower. Well,
sure. Like just all of the other things that one does post gig before showing up to this thing. And frankly, like he was prompt. He showed up like within 15 minutes of us starting.
Well, they had shuttle buses, which I thought was very interesting.
Yeah, there was a whole system figured out.
So it's like I think of like the old people's homes, right? Where they have like the little mini bus with the doors that go.
We go into
and you
town.
hop on. So they didn't roll out with the full Prevost, all that good stuff. They had like little shuttles that came and brought them over, which I thought was funny. But they're small, so that means that the people who were on them, like you only had like 12 people shifts. Coming in. And then I was like, okay, these people are getting progressively more important. And you could tell. And I was like, it is soon. It's time. Yeah.
Because, the black T-shirts rolling in was like the last party before like he showed up.
Yeah.
So that, like the stage crew and that whole set of folks.
I do think, looking back on our setup, and I've given you this feedback before, he loves my feedback. I don't know if you know that. It's one of his favorites.
Here we go.
Well, it's more as the person who is running the sign up, running the side stage, running the Oh, okay. Yeah, you can have some. Running the side stage, peopling, dealing with drunk people on the side of the stage. It's like, I want to sing. Do you do? And I'm like, scan the QR code. I will say it is very challenging to do all of that over here and then also cue you, because we need a better solution for the queue of who's next. Because I have it on my cell phone, or actually on my iPad, cell phone, something like that, where I can see and I can actually jump around and I can text them and all that good stuff. But what ends up happening is you guys go, what song is next?
Yeah.
And then I got people talking over here and I'm like, just hold, hit, huh. So it's a big balancing act. So I would love to solve for that.
Well, so, we've been using this request now system. What did you think of that particular setup, though?
I really liked it. I love the text feature.
Yep.
Because it's very, it's a macro, right? It's like you hit the little text button, it sends the text. What I wish it had, and I don't know if we can actually do that on our side, is make a name required. So what ends up happening is person number 15.
Well, so when you go to make a request, it's supposed to open up a website, and it's because you are supposed to put a name in.
And then they don't.
But yeah, if they don't do anything and they just press submit, it just goes guest number, whatever.
So I 100% made the executive call in that moment, because we had a very short, it was barely an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And we had good turnout. Like people were, I was wondering if they were going to do that, but they were signing up. But yeah, I skipped over people who didn't put their name in, made a few announcements. I was like, hey, I don't know who number 15 is, so you need to put your name in.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought the request, what is it called? Request now?
Request now.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I think where we need to do something a little better is having some sort of where you can see the queue, the same thing I'm seeing.
Yeah, we would just have to have some sort of additional. We had thought about using ProPresenter where we could you could put a message on the display. We just never got. We never got around to doing that, and that might be the way to go.
I don't have extra hands to be typing though.
Yeah, it might just require additional hands.
Well, and that was the other thing we talked about is we probably need a wrangler and an MC,
or an AD person and a host.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, I thought the tool itself, for what it is light years beyond
just paper.
Yeah, paper sign up.
That's good. Yeah, I will say when I've done solo live acoustic karaoke, boy, being the performer and the organizer and
there's a lot.
Dave, where's Dave? Is it
Anybody seen Dave?
Is it
Yeah.
Dave in that? Yeah, Dave.
Yeah. Well, and what's also interesting is towards the end, we still had maybe 10, 15 people in the queue. And I was like, nope, we were over. We went overtime.
We did.
And we had no contract. So I looked at the guys and I was like, this is it. We're wrapping it up. We're landing the plane. Bring on Journey. Here we go.
Yeah, it was 2 a.m. at that point, so we had gone over 30 minutes, and you had already said at 1 o'clock, we're no new signups, we're not, we're closing the list down.
Yeah.
And it was just a matter of kind of running out the night, and then it got to the point where there weren't any names on the list. It was just a bunch of
guest
nameless
number.
faces or whatever.
Yeah.
So she made the executive decision, and that was that. It started to kind of empty out.
I don't think people had an issue with it. These people had to go and lather, rinse, repeat the next day.
Yep.
So I'm not terribly upset about it.
Do we want to talk about Teddy at all? Are we going to get to that?
We can talk about Teddy if you want to.
Yeah. He rolled in fairly early and basically just worked the room as far as I can tell. So he didn't go off into a corner and
We did get hey, if they start calling for him, do not entertain having him on stage. I was like, I would never do that anyway.
Why would you?
We did have somebody that had been ambushed, and we had to have that hey, don't sign people up for this if they don't want to.
Yeah.
Right.
That's important to know. Yeah. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Especially in a room with but it's a bunch of people who perform.
I will say, and let me tell you what, doing live band karaoke, this chair swivels.
Yeah, it does.
So if I swivel around, don't worry about it. I will say it was really refreshing. I think refreshing is the word I'm going to use. It was really refreshing being in a room doing live band karaoke where you didn't have to do a whole lot of the lift, if you catch my drift.
Yeah, most people knew what was up.
So everyone knew what was up. People weren't staring at you going, no, when do I come in?
Some people were.
Well, some people were, but a couple of the band members got up and sang. Killed it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Killed it.
Yeah, his guitar player did Everlong, and then somebody that's one of his vocalists, I think, did Everybody Wants to Rule the World. It was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
It was amazing.
If you can impress him.
Cool.
It was, And it was just cool. Like I helped him with a couple of the cues, like because that's the timing on that song's weird. But yeah, no, he was
right.
That was great though.
He was I actually went outside. I was like, dude,
that was awesome.
That was tremendous.
Yeah.
And he was very nice.
That was nice.
So
yeah.
Other standouts we did. I think the biggest one where like the crowd got into it more than anything was probably Sugar We're Going Down. Like it went like big.
Yeah.
It was one of the guys in the road crew. Super, super nice. Chat with him a little bit afterwards. But yeah, that one went pretty hard.
Cool.
To answer everybody's question, we didn't get a chance to meet
Nope.
Teddy. Jayton is his name, by the way. I had to like tell her, I was like, hey, by the way,
Yes.
his name is Jayton, so if Jayton's on the list, that's who that is.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
Right.
but he was like he was definitely open to meeting people, but again, he was working the room, we were working the stage, and he
there's
walked
just-
by several times.
there's
but-
just there wasn't a way to do that.
No.
Like we would have to have stopped
No.
what we were doing.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
it's Teddy Swims.
It just
That's
and
not
that's
cool.
We had a whole episode last week
Yes.
about not doing
Step
that.
one,
so
don't do that.
Yes, you followed our own advice. That's
Good.
good.
yeah.
That's good. I'm glad we did that. Hey, you know what my other favorite part was?
Tell me.
Was when they were like, "Hey, do you want to do tomorrow night?"
Oh, that's right. They wanted. We were
Wow.
supposed to do. They asked us to do 2 nights in a row. Same thing.
And it
And-
was literally, I will tell you this. So afterwards, you were rolling cables, whatever. I was chit-chatting with the bartenders, the people who were out there, and they're like, oh, are you guys done? And that's always a good sign, right? When people are like, oh, you're done? Like, yeah, we're done.
Yeah.
Oh, that was so awesome. You guys are going to be here tomorrow night, right? And I was like, no, we're not. I'm sorry. And they're like, oh, this was so cool.
But we were up to the point where I was like, I was talking with Teddy's tour manager and the guy who booked us, and I was like, so same thing tomorrow? And they're like, no, I think we're gonna do something a bit more low key, and that's honestly totally fair because people couldn't have conversations.
Nope.
It was
Well, it was
Right.
about what was on stage.
Yeah.
I do think it's pretty awesome to throw an after party where you can do something interactive.
yeah.
And you get to participate if you want to. I think the space itself is hard to have conversations in.
Sure.
There's just not like a quiet spot
Yeah.
unless you're, I guess, behind the stage.
Right.
Maybe.
Like playing pool or whatever.
Yeah.
Literally up until the point like we were trying to settle the gig, we were like, do we try to make this work? Because
Do we leave
Yeah.
our stuff here and
well,
just
and that
roll
was
out,
that was
roll
the
back in?
upside. Is like
Everything's all plugged
like,
in.
The upside was no loadout. Okay,
Yeah.
that means I get home in
Yeah.
like an hour earlier,
Yeah.
which means I might get
Right.
a little more sleep. But also the prospect of doing that again on literally 3 hours of sleep was
After a full work day.
yep,
Yeah.
that seemed a little
No bueno.
dicey.
Yeah.
So I was simultaneously relieved and kind of bummed. But it just,
Yeah.
if you think about that prospect though, like it, even if it's different people, the songs that we would be playing would be almost identical. Just because people
Yeah.
pick the songs that people pick.
They do.
So we would
Right.
still probably play the same 20 songs or some variation
Yeah.
of that. And yeah, that doesn't really make sense. So,
Yeah.
we were willing to entertain the idea, but ultimately they decided against it, and that was okay.
That was okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, when we rolled
Good.
up, they're like, "So you're good tomorrow night?" And we're like, "Huh?" And that was just an interesting conversation to have with everybody.
Like, so are you guys okay
Yeah.
for tomorrow? They're like, what? Anyway,
So I mean, that's pretty much it. It was
there were no boobs.
no boobs. It wasn't like any
No
it
boobs.
wasn't weird. It was like a run of the mill, kind of halfway public, halfway private kind of gig. It was probably more lively than most private parties.
Oh, 100%. That is a really good point. Because I will say this. Private parties can go either way.
Yep.
And I feel like there's a lot of work trying to pull people out. The second we started, everybody was in.
game. Yeah.
And that was, but I think it also speaks to what that audience is.
Yep.
And they know.
Well, and it was a unique
Yeah.
mix of people. It was the band, the crew,
Probably some VIPs.
tour manager was local. Some of the band members were local. Teddy's local. So it was like family friends. Like one dude was like, "Oh, I went to high school with this guy, and I know this dude through this thing." So
Yeah.
it was like quote unquote normies along with like industry folks. So it was a good mix of folks, and you could, if anybody went up to sing, you could tell who was who.
Yeah.
But other than that,
Sure.
it was just like, it was a good vibe. Everybody was there to have a good time.
Everybody behaved themselves.
Yep.
Nobody was too
got
sloppy.
stupid.
Oh yeah, there was one lady. Someone got signed up and they didn't want to sing. And so they grabbed the waitress who was literally, she's waiting for her big break. I swear to you.
No, she was great.
And she walks up, she's like, no problem. And
Yeah.
then she just does it. And I was like, okay, you do you, girl. I did like that they papered over all the windows.
Yep.
I'm glad that wasn't my job. Do you want to talk about the guy that we met who owns a really cool bar?
Yeah. So there was a bunch of people. I was upset because like I saw a bunch of people shooting video and photos and things, and I was like, I got to get these people's contacts. I didn't get anybody's contact. I was like, Amber, there's a guy walking around with a DSLR.
He's like,
go find him.
He
went
out
that
there,
away.
Go out there and do the thing. And I was like, that is not my job.
Okay, but what did you go do?
I went and did it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I chit-chatted with him.
Yeah.
Turns out.
Yeah, he was like a fascinating human being.
Super fascinating. He's part owner in a bar in Orlando.
Yep.
Called
Well, 2 bars now. Yeah.
I think it's called Warped.
Yeah, they have a pop punk
How
emo
cool is
Warped
that?
themed bar in downtown
Okay.
Orlando.
And I was
How
like,
about
I
that?
found another reason to go to Orlando.
Yeah. And he was like straight up. He's like, if you guys are ever like need a place to play, like coming through town,
Yeah.
like hit us up. So I was like,
How cool is that?
and it's just like a fascinating person. Like we talked about all kinds of stuff. It was just cool people, like interesting folks, like
I love a good, interesting folks
like,
situation.
people people who are worth knowing.
Yeah.
On the Patreon, someone was like, so how do these exposure bucks work? Like, what is the conversion rate? And I was like, in my experience, the exposure bucks that we got paid on this gig, they take a while
Yeah.
to vest,
They mature.
you know?
Yeah. Exactly.
So
yeah. Yeah.
I still feel like what we did was the right thing. And at the end of the night, the request system sends a text message out the next day that says, hey, thank you for participating. If you ever need anything, let us know. And it includes like a V card
Okay.
of contact information, which is our email and website and all that jazz. So whatever that might be or how that kind of manifests itself, at least 6 months probably before we see any sort of potential return on that, more than likely.
Yeah. We have this conversation a lot, though. It's like, oh, well, they're not going to be able to pay us what we would normally charge. And it's like, well, sometimes you do it for the gram.
Yeah. Do it for
Even
the
though
story.
we didn't really gram it, we just storied it. I did take a before picture,
Yes.
with the intent of taking an after picture, but that's how tired we were. There was no after.
Yep.
It was just, this
Yeah.
is it.
Yeah.
This is it. And
Yeah.
no one needed to see what we looked like the next day.
Also fair. I'll say this was a unique experience for me, and I texted Amber about it the next day. Like, our kids like fully understood like the magnitude of like the opportunity and rose to the occasion, like helped get themselves ready and out the door. And it was a unique moment where I felt supported by my children in a way that like we support them and their things, but like it was very cool.
Well, and they were proud.
Yeah, to feel that from your kids. Like I was like, I feel like loved and supported right now. That's something.
That's great. Yeah.
So yeah, that was like that was a thing that I wasn't expecting. I literally like middle of the day, the next day, I was like texting Amber. I'm like, hey, I just had a thought about this. And yeah, like
Yeah.
it was cool. That was honestly,
cool.
that was probably the coolest part of the whole thing. Was just like, that realization.
Well, it was really fun, though. I haven't told a whole lot of people because it's just like some people know who he is, some people don't, right? But all of our marching band fellow parents, I was like, hey, you know Teddy Swims? And they're like, yeah, because it was a part of the marching band show last year. So we all listened to Teddy Swims just until we may have some trauma from it. But yeah, they were like, wow. And they knew who it was because, you know, their kids were marching to it.
Well,
It was
and
pretty
honestly,
cool.
like if I had gotten any like FaceTime with him, if I were to have asked for anything, I would be like, hey, like my kid's marching band did a thing to your thing. And if he could have like just like done like a video, was like, hey, thanks for using my song, whatever. And like being able to give that to the marching band kids.
Why can't we do that after the fact?
I mean, I've got his tour manager's number.
Listen, I'm an ideas kind of gal.
Maybe.
I'm also an action kind of gal.
Oh, you know,
So-
you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Maybe I can do that. And I mean, if you want any sort of, like, Amber needs cachet with that group of people. Like, they already revere her.
It's my winged eyeliner.
Yeah,
They love my winged eyeliner.
Yeah, that's exactly why, not the other reasons. Anyway, so I mean, that's pretty much it. It came, it went.
Very cool.
Dan, thanks for listening.
Hey, thanks for coming on and telling us the whole thing. I appreciate the multitude of perspectives.
Yeah. So if we learned anything, don't look in the rafters.
Yep.
That's gross. Don't look in the rafters of a dive bar.
Yep. And don't call the production guy.
And don't call
Text
him.
him.
You have to text him.